we know LeBron has been challenged before, but is this LeBron's greatest challenge yet?
Not to me. I don't think it is, believe it or not. And I'm not saying that because of the talent. I understand that Golden State is the greatest talent, that he's at the greatest collection of talent that he's ever gone against, considering their offensive repertoire and their resume. But I go back to the year that he won his first title, and that was against the Oklahoma City Thunder. It wasn't just that they had Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, even though they were babies at age 23. There was a Serge Ibaka and a James Harden, age 22. There was a Reggie Jackson, age 21. You had the Derek Fishers and the Daquan Cooks of the world and the Thabo Cephaloshes and the Kendrick Perkins in terms of muscle, things of that nature. It's not even about all of that. It was about the pressure that was on the shoulders of LeBron James at that particular moment in time. LeBron James has been the best player in the world for several years now. We understand that. So from a talent perspective, it's never but so much of a challenge for him. He's more of a challenge for the opposition. But when you consider the fact that he had just lost to the Dallas Mavericks the previous year, after taking his talents to South Beach and becoming a modern-day pariah, losing in the NBA Finals to Dirk Nowitzki. Ultimately, yeah, he got back to the finals because he was down 3-2 against Boston, Paul Pierce, KG, Rondo, Ray Allen, and those boys. And then he dropped 45 and 15 at TD Bank Garden in Boston. But he still had to finish the deal because the real storyline associated with LeBron James was the fact that a title had eluded him, and he didn't have 2007 to piggyback off of when he had lost to the San Antonio Spurs. And then even a year before, as disastrous as that ended up being because he didn't get it done and just wilted beneath the pressure in the fourth quarter of those NBA Finals games against the Dallas Mavericks, you still had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. None of you had played together. Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra and those dudes were basically putting the squad together. Even though the expectations were there, it still wasn't a finished deal. But had he lost this finals to the Oklahoma City Thunder, he may have never won an NBA championship up to this point in his life. And so because of it, that pressure was immense. And I think because of it, the pressure that he experienced at that particular moment in time obviously dwarfed anything that he's going up against now.
Well, if the question is about pressure, you might be right. But the question is about challenge. Is this his biggest challenge? And it is by so far his biggest challenge. It's unthinkable. I mean, it's really not even funny by what order of magnitude this is LeBron James's biggest challenge. If I told you, it's like a 30 for 30. What if I told you that a team wins 73 games with an all-time great shooting backcourt, the all-time great shooting backcourt, reigning and defending back-to-back MVP of the league at the point, defending champs, Draymond Green, the way they can play with him at the 5, playing 5 out, kind of revolutionizing the game, the logical conclusion of what D'Antoni actually started in Phoenix years before that. You think about the squad that they had, and now you say, let's swap out Harrison Barnes and put Kevin Durant on that 73-win team that came within a shot of winning the whole thing. Think about that for a second. And LeBron James is up against that. There's a reason Golden State is the prohibitive favorite in spite of what the Cavs just did to the Eastern Conference. Say whatever you want about the Eastern Conference. Toronto, Boston, those are solid second-round type playoff teams. And Cleveland and LeBron squashed them like a bug on a windshield, smashed them. It was nothing. It was a joke. The one game they lost was to a Boston team that had to come back from 23 down to win that game in one of the all-time great epic comebacks. That was the one. Otherwise, Cleveland did things to them that children shouldn't watch on television, right? And yet that Cleveland team, one of the greatest offenses of all time, is a substantial, a prohibitive underdog against this Golden State team. There's a reason for that. When LeBron James in 07 took them to the finals, that wasn't a challenge. They were a sacrificial lamb to a far superior team. Credit LeBron James for getting his team there. When he went up against the Mavericks, he choked. And then the following season, you're right, Stephen A., there was a lot of pressure on him. But when LeBron joins Dwayne Wade, You know how Kobe's the closest thing we've seen to Jordan. Dwayne Wade's the closest thing we've seen to Kobe. When he joins Dwayne Wade at a time where we thought he's still maybe a top or 3 or 4 player, Wade, and Chris Bosh, that team is supposed to take care of the baby Thunder. Supposed to happen that way. But this all-time great offensive Cavs team, this juggernaut that just destroyed the Eastern Conference, is supposed to lose to these Warriors. They barely beat them last year in an epic comeback. If LeBron James does this, his position among the all-time greats skyrockets even higher than it is. There's a reason for that. It's because this is by far the greatest challenge of LeBron James's career.